Tell me when we are go, no go for launch. All right. Hey, everybody. Here we go. Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you, Ro, for letting me know that we are live. Sorry to disturb everybody at noon. Well, not really disturbing you. My name is Jason Spatafora. I am one of the owners of MarijuanaStocks.com. Most of you know me as the Wolf of Weed Street, or at Wolf of Weed Street on Twitter. If you've been trading pot stocks since 2013, 2014, then you definitely know who I am. If you're just getting interested in the sector, welcome. Better late than never. Okay. So, one of the things that I wanted to discuss with everybody today is just kind of, who I am and, the state of the cannabis market as I see it. Okay. So again, my name is Jason Spatafora, and back in 2013, when I had a regular, I'd say 9 to 5, it was more 24/7. When I had a very high pressure job, I started investing as a way to just kind of put my brain elsewhere. Maybe I should have taken up like crocheting or yoga, but I got into investing. And, with a simple thesis of what's the world going to need in 10 years. And with that, along the way, I found pot stocks, right? So I found marijuana stocks, and, in the process, I just kind of, I latched onto this thing that was very, very early. To give you an idea, when I first found like my first pot stock, which was August of 2013, there was less than 15 publicly traded cannabis companies. Okay. Now put that in perspective. Today, there's 300 publicly traded cannabis companies now, or 300 companies that say they're cannabis companies, to really put it in perspective, in 2013, the cannabis industry was worth, as a whole in North America, $1.3 billion. Last year, Colorado alone did just shy of $2 billion in revenue. So, why should you care? Well, the industry has grown year over year over year. And as, more states pass medical marijuana bills or have laws on the books, currently we have about 40 states with about 70% approval ratings. And the fastest growing demographic in the United States is boomers, or anybody over 55, which is amazing. And kind of seeing that, hey, this was a really interesting industry, I started putting money in, just like a lot of you have. I started with a very small account, and as I became a little bit more comfortable, I started adding and adding and adding. And over the course of like 6 months, I invested about 10 grand into not just all pot stocks, but primarily pot stocks. And Colorado went legal January 2014, and then it was kind of game on. It was around this time that I became the Wolf of Weed Street on Twitter, which is a way for me to do due diligence with everybody out there in the Twitter sphere. What that meant was, hey, because it was a wild time back then. I would see if people live close to this purported address of this company. Can you go take a look, see what's going on? I'll send you $100 on PayPal. If it's a real company, go in, ask these questions. If it's a PO box, please send me a picture. And I just found that this was an easy way to, separate the wheat from the chaff, as they say. And with it, the industry started to explode, and we quickly realized that there was a lot of momentum and hype driven, and in the process along the way, my 10 grand investment turned into a lot more, about 6,600% more by April 1st, 2014. And with that, there was still a lot of holes in the industry. Information was still really hard to get. Everywhere you looked, there was really nowhere to find something where you could amalgamate all this information, and even have a semblance of what companies were out there. So if we fast forward a little bit, that's when myself and two other people acquired MarijuanaStocks.com, which MarijuanaStocks.com has been the ʼ1 destination for people interested in cannabis stocks in forever, pretty much. The site's actually been active since like 2010, which is pretty crazy. So, with that and with everything that has kind of happened, if I give you a quick run, the summer of 2013 to April of 2014 was a massive bull run for cannabis. Then, as we weren't quite there yet, the bubble burst. Okay. It took a full year and a half for the sector to rebound and rebound in a really significant way, right in time for the election. Then from 2016 to about March of 2019, we had an even more amazing run. This is where companies were doing deals with, conglomerates and alcohol and tobacco, multi-billion-dollar deals. The sector as a whole was just growing exponentially. Jobs in the cannabis space still outpacing all manufacturing. And the sector really just grew. And in that time period, I've been part of, pinpointing the top of the wave and the bottom of the wave, and guiding people towards, hey, understanding the cyclical nature of this industry, and, either saving people a lot of money or making people a lot of money. So that's really why I'm here, and to give you some perspective on the last major thing that I called out was in March of 2019, as I've done for the last 4 or 5 years on Twitter. You can check, just go into search and type in Ides of March and then @WolfOfWeed ST, which is my Twitter handle, and you'll see. So in March of 2019, and actually if we rewind a little bit, back when Canada went fully legal, I was like, look, this is the top, okay? This is the top. Now it becomes an execution story. And I exited, for the most part, most of my positions, traded these positions up until March. And then in March came the real doozy for the sector, which was very unpopular at the time. And when I say unpopular, I mean hate mail unpopular. You don't know what you're talking about unpopular. So on March 5th, 2019, I started to say, look, I'm starting to get out of all of my cannabis positions. I'm almost through them. I'm getting out. I think March 15th, we're going to start to see a shift and a decline, as I've seen the last couple of years. Okay. A couple days later, Another tweet, I'm completely out. All right. And not only am I completely out, but I'm going short. I'm going short this one, this one, this one. You know, I would do streams and everybody told me I was crazy, you know, and a lot of you probably told me I was crazy, you know, that I'm an old dog. It's time for, you know, a new breed of cannabis investor, which I always found funny. And then the market crashed 70%. Okay. Not only did it crash 70%, so usually I would get back in the summer and, you know, at a deep discount, as I, you know, that's how I built my portfolio and built my wealth, you know, over the last couple of years by understanding the cycle of pot stocks and taking advantage and using house money. So the summer came around and I just still wasn't sure. So I could have bought back every position that I had in March, to give you an idea, triple, and still had profit left over. You know, to put that in perspective, think about Kronos was 23 in February. Canopy was $50. You know, now fast forward, Kronos is $5. Canopy is $16. I mean, Aurora was $10 in March. And that was one of the ones that I went short against. And now, if you don't count the reverse split they did, they're a 64-cent stock. Okay. And I'm the one that was called crazy. So when this time period came, you know, I felt like I wanted a second opinion. And so what I did was I hired a quantitative analyst to give me very, very high level data, you know, crunch numbers in a way that my mind just doesn't work. Because remember, I wasn't a finance major. I wasn't that just became, you know, happened to become an expert in this field. But I wanted a higher level look at everything. So I hired him. I got all the data for everything, bare bones, you know, where the issues are in the Canadian market, a better understanding of the US market and the US market going forward for the next 2 years and the Canadian market for the next 2 years and all the headwinds and tailwinds that each sector is going to face. And, you know, I use this as a way to see if I was going to redeploy my money. And after going through all the data, I decided it wasn't right. Okay. And the sector actually dropped another 20 to 30%, depending on which stock you were in, you know, which kind of brings us to now. Okay. Now, all of the things that I've said, you know, are easily searchable. So that way, you know that I'm not Monday morning quarterbacking it. Okay. And, you know, I want you guys to be aware because you're going to hear from, or I'm sure you've heard from a lot of friends and people that have just gotten completely destroyed in the cannabis market. Okay. You know, so, I understand because I literally talk to people every day, with what I'm doing now. Okay. And, you know, starting in July, I started to rebuild my positions. Okay. Now, where exactly? Yeah, a few places, right? And I'm sure you're all just dying to know, you know, where I'm deploying capital now. Okay. So it's not so complicated, but I also want everybody to have an understanding. Okay. You know, I give you a couple free little tips here. No pot stock, I don't care which one, has been a buy and hold for 5 years. Okay. Now you can do that. All right. But you're leaving a lot of money on the table. And also it's kind of a crapshoot, you know, the toast of the town today might be, you know, the next Aurora, you know, I mean, people were saying, oh, I'm buying Canopy at $60 USD at the very, very top, and saying, oh, this is a 5-year hold. This is a $100, $200 stock. You know, you can't trade that way in pot stocks. If you do, you will get killed. You know, with what's gone on recently, you know, we had this massive run up and then we had a pullback, you know? So, you know, we need to take advantage of that. And the way that I took advantage of it, and what I've basically been doing, because I know a lot of you haven't seen me very active on Twitter. And I made a conscious decision about 6 months ago to, you know, as LeBron did, you know, take his talents to Miami. I suck at basketball. So what I've been doing is I've been involved with a group called True Trading Group. Okay. It's TrueTradingGroup.com. And it's a place for not just people that want to trade, but people that actually want to learn. And not just learn from, like, it's not a site where, hey, I'm just going to feed you alerts, right? And tell you, hey, this is what I'm doing. You do this. You know, it's more of a, hey, do you understand why I'm doing what I'm doing? And can you do it if I wasn't here? You know? So it's kind of like, think of it as, it's like Netflix, but for trading. You know, it's information, and not just information, it's coursework, it's tests, it's, you know, you go through like a sector, and you have to actually pass things, and it's amazing. So, sorry, I'm getting a thing from Control. Anyway, let me go back to some of the finer points. All right, so look, True Trading Group is one of the fastest growing and highest rated educational platforms for the stock market community that exists today. And that's just kind of the reality. You can check it out. We're all over Trustpilot. You know, but, you know, myself, it's not just me, it's myself, as one of the head traders. Another head trader is Michael Edward. And then we've got a bunch of mods that have different skill sets for everything, you know, from small caps to crypto to everything. But, you know, that's kind of neither here nor there, right? Because that's all great, and that's just kind of extra to this. But the reason that I'm doing this today is next week I am doing I'm hosting a Profit from Pot Stocks webinar, all right, with all the True Trading Group members. That means if you're not a True Trading Group member, you won't be able to attend. And honestly, you definitely want to attend, because it's here that I'm going to go over the next 6 months. It's here that I'm going to fine tune the strategy that we've already put in place in True Trading Group since mid-July, you know? You know, and due to the demand for the webinar, we need to limit the size of everyone that can participate, you know, live effectively. You know, so during this webinar, you'll be able to ask questions, and we're going to go through a lot of high-level stuff. We're going to be going through my data, you know, my list of companies that you want to be in. You know, we're basically going to create our own ETF and stay active in it, you know, from top to bottom. So, you know, this is going to be something that's just really, you know, unique to the space, but also unique to you. And honestly, guys, that's the main difference, right? the main difference is you want to trade with me. You want to get an understanding of like, hey, which company? Hey, I'm in this company. Should I be in this company? You know, you want to be able to understand the difference between the brand and the public vehicle, which are two completely different things. Case in point, like MedMen. You guys remember MedMen? Remember I was banging everybody's head against a table to not touch that thing? It was $6. It's 20 cents now. Okay. So, you know, so yeah. So anyway, let's go. Shoot me some questions. All right. That was kind of a long-winded diatribe. So I'll take some questions from you guys. They're all penny stocks. Well, hold on. First off, all pot stocks aren't penny stocks. Now, back in the day, it was 100% like this. Now you have a lot that are on the big boards, you know, where people are, you know, right now, the biggest and the best companies all trade on the OTC, unfortunately. You know, these are the companies that are operating in the United States, and they just can't list to a big board because cannabis is still federally illegal. So they have to find a loophole. So they list the company in Canada, they trade on the CSE, and then they get a listing on the OTC, you know. But there are actually go around, because, you know, if you've got like Merrill Lynch, for example, or Webbull or Webull or Robinhood, you can't buy, you know, your choices of what you can buy are really limited, you know? So, you know, there are actually go-arounds now. That's funny, Hastings. How efficient has my last 6 months in taking profit in cannabis been? Yeah, you know, look, I always teach people to stay active in the space. You know, there was a couple companies that I got into. I won't give you any tickers because that's not the purpose of this, but I got into a company at around $7.12. And caught every big move and recycled that move by taking profits where I should and then rebuying the dips. And what started out as something with a 712 average, you know, when you piece together everything that I did and all the free shares that I got by using house money, now my average is under $5.80. Ooh, that's a good question. What extent does the election matter? The election matters a lot, you know. The election matters a lot, and there's definitely a play on the election. Now, there are some new states that are going to be in the mix, and, you know, certain ones that probably nobody thinks of as kind of being impactful will actually have a lot of impact. But yeah, I mean, part of this webinar for TTG is going to be, you know, how to maximize your portfolio with the election. And trust me, it's not like, hey, I'm just going to buy a bunch of stuff, you know, and then everything's going to, you know, rip after the election. It's nothing like that. See great potential of legalization happening. Opinion? Yeah, look, you want legalization to be drawn out. You know, that's the truth. you want it to be step by step. So like safe banking, rescheduling, federal legalization, something along those lines. And you want it to last like 1, 2, 3 years. Why? Because you want that FOMO and you want people to participate in this market, on a really big scale. You're not trading, you're holding. It's not trading, it's maintenance. Okay? I'm not trading either. But think about the people that bought like Green Thumb at $16 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. They got destroyed, or they're getting destroyed, and they're probably buy and hold. All right. Whereas me, I was buying it in the mid 13s. It would go up 70 cents. I'd take half my position off the table. I'd get back into the position. And then when this thing drops, I'm excited about it. Yeah. Okay, another election question. Yeah, look, I'm going to be covering everything in the webinar, from the election to how to stay active, which companies are the best capitalized, which companies are a trade, which one are buy and hold, or a relative buy and hold. All of that's going to be covered. And yeah, and a big question is, well, whoever wins the election, right? It's a trade on whether it's interchangeable, right? It's a strategy for both. If the Dems win, if the Republicans win, if somehow there's an executive order, then what? And all of this, and here's also the thing, okay? I've done 2 webinars already, okay? And these are easily, you just go back and look at the video. It's the same format as this, except with like PowerPoints and stuff like that. From the beginning and just kind of understanding to the next one is just kind of a higher level. Those things alone were really where it's at. And a lot of people will tell you, anybody most people are in chat right now, but they'll tell you that that first webinar just made it, like that information will not only keep you make you money, but it'll keep you from losing money on stupid companies, stupid trades, companies that, you need to understand how a company will survive, and, understand the time frames that you're working with, how certain regulations are going to put their boot on certain companies' necks, and just while they're like underwater. So, this is all stuff that we get into. Oh, Leonardo, thoughts on MSOS ETF? Stay away. I think that there's definitely a time for that ETF. I think, probably some of the problems that, so they had a position in CRBP, which is a pharmaceutical company. It was like $8. They had a bad trial, and the thing ended up going down to $2. Now their position wasn't too big, but that position got cut by like 74%. Yeah. You're going to hop on tech analysis of MSOS. You know, Jacob, you can't do technical analysis on MSOS right now. You can't. Technical analysis on MSOS means doing technical analysis on 20 companies. And right now, that's just, it's difficult, right? You have to, you want to be in the ETF, and they're an active ETF, so they can pivot. But, the time for MSOS will be when their core holdings, their top 10 holdings, start to really perform, So, I mean, I think it could be close, but, right now, like technical analysis, like the chart's out the window, as they say. That's what happened. It is absolutely an election issue that needs to be enforced for tax reduction. Yeah, look, so I'm guessing you're talking about safe banking, and yes, the beauty of what's happened, this is actually a good thing that companies in the U.S. they can't make certain deductions or really any deductions to the IRS, so they've got to run like lean and mean, or you can tell the well-run companies from the ones that aren't. The ones that aren't are like the companies like Ianthus that take loans with like 20% interest rate. Any company that takes a 20% interest rate, just consider them dead. They're never going to be able to pay it back. So yeah. All right, let's see what Control is saying. Curaleaf, buy the dip or wait? Yeah, look, I'll go. Look, this is all stuff that I'm going to cover on September 18th in the webinar, and that's the thing. Like I understand. Without being cocky about it, like all these questions, I have the exact answer for. But it's like, if you're asking, should I buy this now? Then it just tells me that there are probably some small changes to the way that you think about some of these stocks and a way that you approach investing or trading in general that you need some help with. But, to answer your question, that will be one that, I'm going to answer there. Because what's the point of answering it here? How do we sign up? I bet eventually there'll be a link. All right. See you later, Greg. It's been real. If you had to pick one right now, cannabis company, cash stockpile, or sales and revenue. Joe Canada. No, look, I'll answer this one. Some of the companies that just have a pile of cash, they have to do something with it. Because I want to see a company that has actual like positive EBITDA, actual revenue growth, is growing and able to scale in a market, that's important, look, the differences between the United States and Canada couldn't be any bigger. And it's still crazy to me that a lot of people look at some of the companies in Canada as the bellwethers, as the, the sure things, when it couldn't be any further from the truth. All right. Okay. So we're going to hit you with a link. All right. Okay. So I see I'm getting questions about, what exactly this is. So I'm going to really kind of just get into it. So look, I don't want you to think that this is, hey, come to this webinar, it's going to cost you this. No, it's come to this webinar, understand what I'm talking about, get high level information on what I'm talking about, but also get the previous webinars and also get everything else that we have to offer. Okay. So this is just, look, this is just basically for the people from MarijuanaStocks.com, from Marijuana Stocks Facebook and Twitter, and everything in between. Okay. It's a lot more. All right. So I'm just going to go through what you're getting to start. Okay. So, so you get access to the TTG chat room where you trade live with me every day along 5 other great traders and moderators. You get direct access to me in the chat room and everyone else. And if you sign up and you use the code TTG Wolf, and you also get a one-on-one with me. And let me tell you, my one-on-ones for people in the cannabis industry are a lot of, hey, I'm holding bags in this, I'm holding bags in that. What should I do? All right. So that's part of it. You get, on top of that, you get alerts every single day. Okay. At a minimum, you get 5 to 10 alerts a week. You can get 5 or 10 alerts in a day. There's no limit to them, but you're always getting alerts. And it's not like, hey, I just bought this, for $1 and it's $1.50. No, we jump on the microphone, tell you, hey, this is what I'm looking at. This is around the level of where I'm looking at it. And this is why I'm looking at it. Okay. It's not, oh, I'm in this. Sorry, guys, it's already run. It's nothing like that. So, that's one thing that you really need to understand. But on top of it, I understand that a lot of you have full-time jobs similar to the way that I did, right? And, with TTG, you've got an app and real-time alerts on your phone. So, you get you're working, you're in a cubicle, you get a message, you're like, oh, alert here. Okay, bye. Sounds good. And there you go. You're like, oh, boom, got the alert. So you also get 14 professionally written trading courses, each with exams. And if you pass all the exams, you become TTG certified. Being TTG certified, you get a little green check mark. And basically it tells people that you're interacting with in the chat that you've gone through all the coursework. And it's not like, what's 1 + 1? It's written coursework, and then also like information and video, and then you take a test at the end, score an 85% or above, and then you get certified for that. You get a badge for that particular course. The courses basically break down everything like as if you'd never traded a stock in your life. It just goes from there. On top of that, now this is the real cool stuff. Okay, now all of that stuff that I just mentioned, it's all part of it. It's not like we get a new course and you have to pay more for it. That's just nonsense. And, we don't do that. Anything that we add, you've got all access to. But we also have the stock profile tool with analyst ratings and SEC filings for any company. So basically any information you want to do your own due diligence, you can just get it all right there. It sends you a report and everything. We have the Benzinga Pro live news feed and Squawk Direct for the chat room. So anytime there's breaking news, you get it. Workshops. Now we've done over 70 hours of workshops on here, all right there. So we've done 2 Trader Paloozas. Trader Palooza is 12 hours with each moderator talking about a different thing that they focus on, whether it's, hey, I want to learn how to trade options. It's like beginner options trading. It's like advanced option trading, like setting up your charts. And we've done 2 of those. We've got another one coming up in October, I believe. All right. We also have a live simulator. So a live simulator is great for people that, are just getting their feet wet and need to, learn with fake money beforehand. So basically it's a simulator for paper trading. There's also real-time level 1 and level 2 on the site. Okay. All of those last 3 things, the level 2, the Benzinga Squawk, and the simulator, if you put that into app form, or in just one place, you'd be paying over $200 a month for that. For my level 2 alone, I pay like 85 bucks. All right. So I just want to put it in perspective for you. So again, with all of that I just went over, if you sign up the TTG using the code TTGWolf, it gives you a 41% discount, okay, on everything. So it's a sale that we're running before this webinar. So the regular membership is $2,048, and with the membership, it's $1,198, all right, for a year. And you're locked in. If you want to come in the following year, which we have a lot of reoccurring, you're locked into that price. It will never go up. If you want to get a lifetime membership, which a lot of people opt for, you'll be locked into that price as well. So, yeah. And now, the caveat on all this is for the first 100 people, okay? For the first 100 people that sign up and use that code TTGWolf, you're getting a spot in the webinar, okay? You're getting a spot in the webinar, and you still get everything. It's not like if you don't do this now, then you won't be able to get like all the extras, the simulator and stuff like that. But I want you guys to be able to participate in this, okay? So again, I'll say it again. If you're not a TTG member, I'm only able to accommodate 100 more TTG members between now and next Friday. How does this work? Well, I know I'm one of the 100. Simple. Use the code TTGWolf, okay? You get the discount, get everything that we're offering. And then we go from there. Fair enough? So, we could go through like a bunch of other stuff, just with TTG and with what we're doing. But you know, and we've got, if you check out our YouTube, you know, we've got walkthroughs of the actual site and what we have and what, you know, what we give everybody. But you've got to use the code if you want to participate in the webinar. I'm telling you, it'll be worth it for sure. All right. All right, guys, any questions? You're welcome, Charisse. Yeah, guys, and if you have questions, just text 201-775-9702 now. All right. So, yeah. All right, guys. So have a good rest of your trading day. And I look forward to seeing you next week and in chat on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or even now. I mean, guys, if you sign up now, you could come join chat for the rest of the afternoon and then really see what's going on. And I'm telling you, you're going to be blown away. You know, for the people that are members of TTG, you know, they'll tell you, we've been destroying pot stocks in the last 2 months, or the last month, I should say. So, yeah. It's all right, guys. Have a good day, and I will see you later. Use that code TTGWolf. All right? Join me in the webinar and understand how to profit off of pot stocks from now to the election and beyond. All right? Cool. See you later.